Hello guys, good day. Once again, I welcome you all to the Enqueue Sports YouTube channel. This is Noman Kazi. Today I would be talking about a very popular and a rare badminton shoe which comes from Adidas, and that shoe is known as Adidas Ueberschall F6. Now this is a very beautifully engineered badminton shoe made after a lot of R&D, a lot of research and development. It has a very soft synthetic upper, a sort of a mesh upper. And when we talk of a mesh upper, it is extremely essential for a badminton player, because a mesh upper ensures that the air crosses through your feet. There's a lot of ventilation for your feet, and your feet remain dry and cool. Now, if there is no ventilation, as is the case in a lot of non-Ueberschall models, the ordinary Adidas models, this one is an example. This is an ordinary Adidas badminton shoe, not as hi-fi as this Ueberschall. So in this particular shoe, the upper is not a mesh upper. Even though there is a lot of ventilation spots, but the upper is not a mesh upper. And what happens is that the feet get soaked in sweat, and when that happens, there is extremely high possibility that a player is going to get blisters on his or her feet, which is very painful and an unwanted condition during a high intensity game. Now this shoe is suitable for an aggressive player. I'll tell you why it is suitable for aggressive player. If you start off from the forefoot area, the forefoot area is made up of this Aditough rubber. If you see closely, it says Aditough. Now what this Aditough does is that it enhances the support to the forefoot, and it also prevents abrasion and the rubbing of the forefoot against the court, and hence it prevents your shoe from getting damaged. Of course, the abrasion qualities are not only limited to the forefoot area; they are also limited to the midsole area, to the heel area. Now, if you talk about the midsole area, it is extremely flexible. It is very highly flexible, because flexibility is an essential need for a badminton player, because most of the times when he is lifting a shuttle, he has to move on his toes. So when he has to move on his toes, the shoe will bend, and this part here has to be extremely flexible. Now next, if you look at the heel part, the heel part is inserted with Adiprene, the trademark Adidas technology known as Adiprene, which acts as a shock absorber, and it provides extreme levels of comfort to the heel, because as a badminton player, when you keep on jumping and keep on moving around, you put a lot of weight on your heels and your the middle foot area, and that is why you need a very comfortable and a shock-proof sole. Now, if you talk about the sides of this shoe, it comes with this caged technology. Now, this cage technology provides a beautiful fit, a very comfortable and good-looking fit to your shoe. It starts from here right up to the top of the tongue, and this really enhances the fit. Now, if you talk about the sock liner, or insole as you call it, it is a moisture wicking insole. Now, this moisture wicking insole with a lot of ventilation holes in it as well, if you see closely, this moisture wicking insole drives the moisture away from the bottom of your feet, and that is a prime reason why players can get away with blisters if they wear this kind of a shoe. Whereas if they wear normal shoes which don't drive the moisture away and keep their feet wet, the feet is going to keep on rubbing with the socks and the sock liner, and eventually they are going to end up having severely painful blisters. And now this particular shoe, the Adidas Uberschall F6, also comes in many other colors. Now this is another variation of the same shoe. It is black in color, black yellow in color. This was more yellowish black in color. Looks the same, pretty much the same. The main difference, the only difference comes in the forefoot area. These multiplex series of rubber enforcements over here are in a slightly different shape as composed to the ones that are in this particular shoe. But all in all, the balance and the weight and everything else remains pretty much the same on the scale. Now, last but not the least, this part over here, this part in the middle area of the foot assists the wicking out of the moisture. If you watch closely, it is a very fine mesh sort of a texture over here underneath the foot, which ensures that the sweat, when it gets wicked away from your feet, is driven out through these holes, keeping your foot cool and blister free. Now, as time passes, these big shoe brands come up with the latest technologies and highly developed technologies after a lot of R&D, and this is why they came up with the next model, the next best thing, which is known as the Adidas Uberschall F7 Adi Zero. Now this thing Adi Zero, which is the prime constituent of this particular shoe, you can see Adi Zero is mentioned over here. Now why is this model called Adi Zero, whereas these ones were not Adi Zero? Now Adi Zero is a technology introduced by Adidas, of course, which means that the shoe has been made a lot lighter in weight, extremely light in weight. You can hardly feel the weight of the shoe, and secondly, it also keeps the upper of your foot relaxed, easy, comfortable, and breathable. Now this is what this Adi Zero thing is all about. Again, the same caged structures are on the sides, the same Aditough forefoot, and obviously the same heel, the beveled sort of a heel. And if you talk about the midsole area in this shoe and the F6 version are pretty much the same. They are made up of the EVA material, which is the prime material used in the modern day Adidas running shoes, or football shoes, or tennis shoes, or badminton shoes for that matter. So of course this shoe as well has a lot of ventilation in it, and due to the fact that it is a very lightweight shoe, it is also the choice of the more aggressive players. Now, what is the thing which most badminton players look for in a shoe? It is probably something known as the ergo shape, the ERGO ergo shape. Now, what is an ergo shape? It is something that has really evolved in the game of badminton nowadays, because players want that fitting from the front, this sort of a shape, because the part of the foot at the front, known as the forefoot, is extremely essential, because the player has to be on his toes all the time when he smashes, when he lifts the shuttles. He has to be on his front foot and forefoot area. For that purpose, this place has to be extremely well, abrasion free, and this Aditough thing at the front makes it an abrasion-free shoe. Same is the case with the heel. This heel over here, the adiprene heel. Of course, this is also a kind of abrasion-free, and this area leading up to the sock liner of the shoe. In this shoe, as well as the other variation, the F6 variation, this is also an abrasion-free reinforcement, which prevents abrasion from occurring in this particular shoe. So I hope you liked it. This was pretty much what we wanted to discuss today. This in our upcoming shows, we will be discussing other badminton shoe brands like Li-Ning, Yonex, Asics, Haikwa, Gozen, and all the big shoe brands when we talk about badminton. Then we are also going to be comparing these brands, but for that purpose you need to stay subscribed, you need to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and of course the most important thing that you need to do is to provide us with your feedbacks. And until the next show, I request you to take care of yourselves and your near and dear ones. And until the next episode, of course, goodbye.